Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Glass Academy Webinars 2024. In each episode, we explore the remarkable world of glass, and today we are diving into a captivating topic that has been shaping the construction industry for decades now: designing sustainable spaces, glass as a key catalyst. Designing sustainable spaces is at the forefront of modern architecture and interior design, focusing on creating environments that are not only aesthetically pleasing, but also environmentally responsible. This approach emphasizes on the use of eco-friendly materials, energy-efficient systems, and innovative design strategies to minimize a building's carbon footprint and enhance occupants' well-being. By integrating natural elements, maximizing daylight, and incorporating renewable resources, sustainable design aims to reduce energy consumption and waste while promoting healthier, more adaptable living and working spaces. It's about building for the future, ensuring that spaces are designed to meet present needs without compromising the ability of future generation. The use of glass in architecture has evolved significantly over the years, with sustainability emerging as a key focus in modern design. Glass, traditionally valued for its ability to bring natural light into interior spaces, now plays a central role in creating eco-friendly environments. Incorporating glass into sustainable spaces goes beyond technical aspects. It also addresses human experiences within built environments. By fostering a connection with nature through views, transparency, and the diffusion of natural light, glass enriches interior spaces and enhances the quality of life. The versatility also allows architects and designers to create an open, adaptable space that supports flexible lifestyles and evolving needs. In this webinar session, we will explore how glass can be effectively utilized to create sustainable spaces and share key insights from various projects. Join us today as we delve into the innovative role of glass in sustainable construction, uncovering its impact on energy efficiency and the future of eco-friendly architecture. To take us through this subject, we have with us an esteemed expert in the field, architect Shriya Parasrampuria from Blurring Boundaries, based out of Mumbai. Blurring Boundaries in Mumbai, India, is a contextual architectural and interior design firm practicing sustainable, eco-friendly biophilic designs that blend seamlessly with nature. Spearheaded by founders Shriya Parasrampuria and Prashant Dupare, they focus on creating appropriate, ecological, and contemporary design solutions using vernacular materials and technologies. The founders believe that architecture has the power to affect the core of a society and must be used responsibly. The spatial environment affects the thought process of an individual and therefore that of society at large. Challenging the normal is a constant effort, and being open to new ideas and concepts of learning is essential to growth, both as an individual and as an architect. Shriya has had the chance to explore different materials along with different technologies in architecture and interior in the span of her career. She has found a balance in working from the scale of designing the minute intricacies of detailing to the larger planning of site and buildings. She connects with the user in depth and imbibes their values into the design from the beginning. Welcome, Architect Shriya. We are delighted to have you with us today and look forward to your insightful presentation and this conversation on designing sustainable spaces, glass as a key catalyst.
Hi, Shruti. How are you?
I'm good. How about you, Shreya?
All good.
Great.
Looking forward to having a conversation with you.
Perfect. Done. It's really great that we have you on board, and thank you so much for accepting our invitation here. So we will move forward. Before we dive into today's webinar topic, let's start with some informal and fun questions that take you back to your early days in architecture.
Sure.
We would love to hear about you and your journey and experiences as an architect. Could you please share your story with us?
Hi. I graduated from JJ College of Architecture, and JJ had a very fun, enthusiastic culture, a lot of self-exploration. We had great professors who kind of connected us to different types. I mean, they opened up our minds, and I think exploring different types of architecture and all possibilities in the early years of your learning makes a huge difference to your entire journey of how you progress within your professional field.
Correct.
We started out quite early on our own, and as a firm, we kind of explored a lot of typologies of architecture. And a couple of years back, we realized that the need for the hour is sustainability, and our interest in that line was very, very strong. But what we also realized was that we were not looking to interpret sustainable materials and technologies in the traditional manner. So we kind of headed towards a little more modern design language, and that's where we are today. So
That's
that's
so nice. We are super glad and happy to have you on board today. To start with, how has your approach to architectural practice evolved over the years, particularly in incorporating sustainable materials and techniques in your projects? Could you please share some key principles that guide your design philosophy, especially when it comes to balancing aesthetics and sustainability?
so. One is the beginning of any project. We're very clear that sustainability is not an add-on aspect. It's something that kind of gets incorporated right from the site visit and the conversation we are having with the client. So one key aspect is that we've started educating the client about sustainability and about what the reality of sustainability is, the pros and the cons, much earlier in the project, so that they are informed and make informed choices. In terms of passive designing, building orientation, the kind of materials we are selecting, the local context, site context, local labor, all these are aspects which materials and technologies, both are very different aspects. The same material can be used in, different typologies to kind of achieve sustainability much more strongly. Ensuring that the building is oriented in such a way that the heat gain is minimized. There's a lot more ventilation and natural light, incorporating age-old aspects like, courtyards and verandas. So
Right.
these are all aspects we draw from the traditional methods and then take it forward with what we're incorporating today. But that is not to say that we believe only in traditional architecture. There's a lot of advantages to modern materials which were not used traditionally, and we are not purists in terms of saying that the old is only gold.
Hmm.
So for example, glass is an excellent material to add on in the right direction, in the right uh, way of using. It makes a huge difference.
Perfect. Done. As an architect, what inspired you to prioritize sustainability into your designs? And how do you see the role of materials like glass evolving in the future of sustainable architecture?
So I think we we all I grew up very much in the city in Bombay, and there were a lot of aspects which we didn't uh, realize till we got into seeing a lot more of the world in terms of recently we went on a trip, and we saw 300 400 year old structures with stone and brick, and they were preserved beautifully. And they still I mean, even when we are seeing a facade with a regular old style plaster, regular old style materials with textures versus a very clean concrete facade, there are I mean, we aesthetically tend to kind of find that much more beautiful. So I think that is one major aspect of uh, you know how architecture for us developed into sustainability, where we just realized that the old materials had a lot more character to them at times. And in terms of sorry, what was the second half of the question?
Uh, how glass and other materials can help in the future of sustainable?
So
architecture.
glass itself, as I said, if it's used in the correct direction, so glass is a very maintenance free material. That is a huge, because sustainability does not comprise only, of the time you're using to build it. How long does it last? What kind of human energy and time is required even afterwards to maintain a material or maintain a home is equally important. It brings in light, it brings in the outdoors to the indoors very, very seamlessly. And it can be repurposed. That is one major aspect. Um, I think with DGU and with, you know, glasses only become more preventive of heat gain. And in general, I mean, glass is a very friendly material to work with also. It's flexible if you can understand how to work with it.
Perfect. Done. Okay. Now moving to your projects and your experiences from your practice, could you briefly walk us through the Matyavan project, highlighting the sustainable principles and techniques applied? How did you envision the impact of the project on the surrounding community and its approach to sustainable living? You can share your screen now and present to the audience on how the project evolved.
Yeah. So Mathivan is a project very close to our hearts. I'll start with the it's our first natural building project, and we were looking at exploring uh, as less use of cement and steel as possible. It was intended to be a connect for people between who have never explored the idea of living with mud. So it's a 5,000 square feet farmhouse right in the middle of the reserve forest. And we also wanted to kind of preserve that entire character of of the reserve forest without destroying any aspect of it. So if you see the layout, what you're seeing here is this entire widespread farmhouse, which is built around the trees rather than built seamlessly as a singular space, so that all the time you are aware of the fact that you are within a forest, and that this is your home as much as the forests. Even if you see the section, what you're seeing here is a very a space which has various volumes, and where various volumes are explored to kind of give you a sense of not continuity with the outdoors again. So the courtyard kind of breaks the roof. The roof has a very different volumetric condition. So we are not looking at this in this project. We were not looking at the idea that you have only clean lines. It's like our entire design kind of followed the pattern of nature as well.
Wow.
So what you're seeing here were the existing trees on the site. And then we introduced those as courtyards to kind of ensure that, there is light, ventilation, outdoors, indoors, seamlessness. And the entire project overall, of course, other than the fact that the place is designed around trees, we also looked at the east-west orientation for the built-up area, so that there is less heat gain, and a lot of structures kind of open up into the green shaded areas towards the north. In terms of materials, we've used a lot of materials from site. Wood, the walls are all cob walls. We used a lot of local labor to kind of work with cob. Stone, basalt stone, which is very easily available in Maharashtra. So as you can see from the section, we did a foundation with stone because we had hard strata. Cob walls, we used a lot of recycled material like wheels, bottles. So our intention was to explore all these ideas of sustainability and kind of get it together. Even the roof is bamboo roof, and we've used a lot of lime plaster. As you can see, the overall aesthetic is very, very rustic.
Yeah.
We've incorporated the idea of a water management system, solar panels. The entire place is run with solar panels along with the grid, but we've kind of incorporated, because there are no energy intensive units at this point in the structure. It is easy to kind of run the entire structure on solar. There's a biodigester system for the solid waste. And we've explored this idea of homemade AC per se, where only exhaust fans are required to kind of pull in air and cool them.
Mhm.
A few images of the project. So as you can see, it kind of feels like it's almost like a hut inside the forest, and the colors are all, or the overall aesthetic kind of just flows the way a mountain or a natural feature flows. It's not like in the middle of everything you're seeing a straight line.
Correct. Very nice.
So some of the roofing members, we've used a lot of recycled glass here in the roofing. So we found a vendor who was willing to supply us so glass as a material, as a recyclable material, is also extremely convenient. We've used simple materials like kota, like dead wooden trees. Now, kota is used, while it's a very, very basic material and it's such a common material. However, the way we played with it is what has made it unique in this project.
Right.
So all this is bamboo covered with glass.
Oh, nice.
And we've used wood also in its existing form. We've not tried to shape it or bend it or, transform it to our will.
Right.
It kind of just followed the way we found it in nature. This is all bamboo concrete, the green back panel that you're seeing. Bamboo concrete. So we've used bamboo wattle and daub technique and then created this entire piece of furniture.
Wow.
So some of the bathrooms with the courtyards. So our intention is we kind of explored this whole idea of, what is shelter and what do actually humans need for comfort levels, and whether everything needs to be enclosed. So while there are mosquito nets here, but other than that, we didn't feel the need to kind of enclose it with any other material. And overall, we've realized that during summers, etc., this is much more pleasant to stay in compared to, let's say, a regular home. So yeah, that's about it for Mati one. It's a project where we kind of incorporated a lot of principles of sustainability without having it represented in a traditional manner.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's really amazing to see such a project come to, realize. We would also love to hear about the challenges encountered during the design and construction, and how did you address them while maintaining your sustainability goals? Were there any challenges that you would like to tell the audience about?
So definitely, it was a new material for us. One thing that you have to understand with natural materials and sustainability is that they don't behave. One is we've lost a lot of knowledge, all our ancient wisdom. So we found difficulty. We had to retrain all the labor, all the masons involved in the project on site. And that means a longer time period also. Plus, it also means that there are mistakes made while constructing. Understanding the material takes its own path. And natural materials don't work like cement maybe dries in a day. Natural materials take a while to dry out. So you have to give it that natural time to kind of allow the material to get stronger, which was a big learning for us. So we realized that there are ways of incorporating sustainability, and it's not, you have to be very clear as to why you want to make a sustainable project. It can't be because it's in fad, or it is in someone has told you something, and the level of sustainability you want to incorporate within your project. That was a big learning for us, and which is why we try and inform the client very strongly about what are the pros and what are the cons, because cons exist everywhere. But that said, overall, when you see the well-being of a person, we really feel that Matiwan has a much better living uh, uh, environment as compared to, let's say, a regular home.
That's really great. Okay. Sustainability is crucial in today's construction landscape. Can you begin by discussing its significance in modern building design? Additionally, please highlight some key elements of sustainable practices in architectural design.
So one is it's not, there are three parts that we divide sustainability into. One is, of course, the basic passive design technologies that you incorporate in a building, which should be irrespective of whether you're trying to be sustainable or not. And it should be something that is irrespective of the style of building. So ensuring that you are in a climate like India, you would be behaving very, very, I mean, in a climate like Bombay, rather. India is also so vast. So in a cold climate, or in a hot and humid climate, or in a hot and dry climate, the behavior of the building itself will be so different that you have to understand that aspect and use the site context, local site context, to kind of ensure that you are building with the right materials also, and with the right design technologies also. So that is one basic aspect. And this has nothing to do with, I mean, as a good architect, you have to ensure that your user is more comfortable in the building, and therefore you plan it accordingly. Energy efficiency is extremely important again. If you ensure that your building is gaining more heat, you're going to need more air conditioning. And if you ensure that the building is a lot more pleasant as it is, with a lot of natural lights, you will ensure that you don't require high energy intensive uh, appliances. And that obviously translates into a whole lot of other things. Incorporating basic, whether it's a small scale building, whether it's a large scale building, incorporating some basic active technologies also is very, very important. Water harvesting, how do you use your gray water? How do you use your solid? How do you dispose of your solid waste? Kitchen composting. These are things which of course have to be handled by the user in future. So that is very important that they're aligned with it. But they can be incorporated without too much difficulty or capital investment. Solar, of course, is a huge capital investment. But that said, you have to understand again what works and what you can shift to solar and what you cannot. So these are three key basic aspects which we kind of incorporate. In passive design, building orientation, ensuring that the building mass, thermal mass is oriented correctly, a lot more ventilation outlets, ensuring that there's a lot of cross ventilation, especially in a climate which is so hot and humid. Smaller things like incorporating water bodies in dry climates, shaded water bodies in dry climates. And so small things make a huge difference to the overall microclimate of the building. And if the building is cool inside out, then you've achieved the idea of sustainability.
Yeah. One fascinating project you worked on is the boutique resort in Uttarakhand. Could you walk us through this project and explain how glass was an integral material that you had incorporated into the design?
Yeah, I'll share the screen. So this was a boutique resort which we made pretty much in the again, in a very rural, inaccessible setting. And our entire material palette for this building was also very different. It was a very eco-sensitive site, and we didn't want to build a lot in terms of the ground level. And we also didn't want to kind of incorporate a lot of external materials in terms of which would require heavy loading on the line. And we were also, we realized that there is a bit of labor issues with the remoteness of the site. And so we kind of stuck to something that does not require too many elements of labor. So it's a small boutique resort with 4 cottages, dining area, and a reception, and an existing caretaker's cottage. And there is a watchtower or machan kind of a structure which we've constructed. We kept it simple. The natural landscape was preserved almost as it is. What we did was we used these insulated roofing panels to create this A-frame structure, and a little bit of local stonework, which was quite popular. But we had to keep it a little minimal because, again, as I mentioned, local labor was a bit of an issue there. So in which case, modern materials like the insulated roof panel and the glass material worked out very, very well. We kind of ensured that the east-west side has these insulation panels to kind of minimize any heat gain. And the glass facades were facing towards the north and the south. So fortunately, we had a view both towards the north and the south, and so we could manage to kind of, without too much compromise in terms of the views, we could achieve this entire facade with the glass, as you can see. So we kind of used a very angular language. And when we went inside, one of the first things that struck me was also this entire sense of, being in the mountains and achieving conceptually a mountain, a small mountain on the land itself. And that's how we kind of evolved with the idea of using A-frames. A-frames are tried and tested for a long time, but it just worked very well. So both the sides are facing are complete glass views, and that allows a lot of light, ventilation, and transparency. So the entire plan is divided into 2 parts. It kind of is partially divided into the toilet block and the bedroom section, and each individually has a view. So the glass facade we tilted quite strongly, but we also covered it with a balcony to ensure that there's no water leakage, and that sense of inviting the outdoors and the sky into your space is what happened here. You never forget, and this is actually a right in the middle of it's very close to the Kalagad Tiger Reserve. So you actually, from these windows at night, because the lighting etc. is very, very dim, so you often see and there's a river right beside, so you often see elephants, tigers from the structure itself. So if you're sitting in the balcony or if you're sitting in the seating space, you kind of, and you're quiet, and there are wild animals which you see locally, simply because there's a river right beside, and we capitalized on that using glass as a facade.
Nice.
This is the watchtower, which is resting in between the trees, and again, to ensure that that sense of openness is there, and you're almost like in a machan. That sense was achieved because of glass. So, and the thing is, because this is an isolated area, the glass almost kind of shelters you from external views throughout the day. And at night, nobody's going to venture to the other side of the jungle. So that's about it. This was one of our uh, initial projects where we kind of deviated from a traditional material and we decided to go ahead with a very modern structure and language to kind of explore this whole unit right in the middle of the jungle, which protects you from elements but allows you to kind of see through the jungle as well. Yeah, I think that's about it. Sure.
Great. Stoked to learn about this very special project of yours, especially using very unique and different materials. Moving forward, how does the use of glass contribute to sustainability in building design? And what innovations in glass technology do you see shaping the future of eco-friendly architecture from your point of view?
So, a couple of things, definitely DGUs and make a huge difference. I think over time, people will kind of work, you get excellent, you know, insulated panels nowadays with glass. And while it gives you privacy with your reflective materials, etc., but it still allows you a lot of natural light within the space. So that, of course, is the most basic use of glass. And especially as we live in such concrete boxes within the city, I think a window is the only thing which kind of
Connects.
allows you to connect to the outdoors and to get that sense that you're not isolated from the world. I think glass blocks are a great invention. That seamlessness, yet privacy, yet enclosure that it provides. I think in terms of like the idea that glass can now get converted from a transparent material to a translucent material at the touch of a button with the electromagnet. So magnetic glasses are also something that can be explored within modern buildings, within the kind of work, especially in interiors. And the beauty of glass, so other than within interiors also, I feel that glass is a very uh, rich material. It remains new and it makes the space much larger and reflective, even 10 years down the line. So, it kind of doesn't age, which is a great and unique characteristic of glass.
Perfect. So we are almost nearing the end of our webinar today. Lastly, could you share some of your projects where glass play a central role in the design, adding a unique dimension to each space?
Yeah, so I'll show you a few of our interior projects as well as one or two architectural projects.
Yeah.
So this is a small office in Santa Cruz that we did, where while the office was quite small in scale, but the use of glass kind of helps, increase the scale and size of the space. So it'll be a little. So what you see here is how glass helps reflect light and makes it much brighter. And we've used a very neutral colored glass, so it kind of just works very, very well in enlarging the space, especially in a city like Bombay. We've also, in this case, used it as a design element to create partitions for the cabins. So with the use of mixed glass, like fluted, colored, and plain glass, we've kind of created an element of interest, yet protecting the privacy of the rooms inside. We also have used glass very strongly in some of our facades where, the entire space kind of becomes almost seamless and endless because of the use of glass. So it kind of just feels like the indoors and the outdoors flow into one another because there is no barrier other than and then in interiors itself, always worked towards, the beauty of glass is sometimes enhanced using it in detailing. So what you see here as the white putties is all back painted glass. And then there is this entire fluted door, which kind of blurs the background and creates a focus point of, interest. And again, it also introduces privacy without making it enclosed. And, it just increases the space without kind of blocking the edge of it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And then there is this TV room in which again we've used glass with a design element. So in that sense, glass can be paired with a lot of materials. It looks great with wood. It looks great with metal. It works very well with mirrored glass. Works very well with all sorts of materials to kind of enhance the beauty of both the space and the glass. Yeah, I think that's about it. So these are some of the projects that we thought we'll showcase as an interior showcase for glass as well.
Perfect. With this, we come to the end of the webinar today. Thank you, Architect Shriya, for that insightful walkthrough of your wonderful projects and a deeper understanding of sustainability and its aspects. Your expertise and passion for sustainable architecture truly shone through, providing us with valuable knowledge on the innovative use of glass in creating eco-friendly environments. We really appreciate your time and contribution to our webinar, and we look forward to seeing how your work continues to inspire sustainable design in the future. The knowledge you shared with us today is invaluable, especially as we continue to innovate and push the boundaries of how glass can be used in sustainability. As we wrap up today's webinar series on designing sustainable spaces, glass as a key catalyst, we hope you, as an audience, are inspired to explore new ways to incorporate glass in your own projects, pushing the boundaries of design and enriching the environments you create. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing how you bring these insights to life in your future designs. Once again, on behalf of all of us at Glass Academy and Ethos Empowers, a huge thank you to you, Architect Shreya, and we deeply appreciate you for taking out your valuable time to join with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shruti.